There are 5 essential pieces to most home gyms: a rack, some type of dumbbells, a bench, barbell, and plates. But those don't really matter. After all, weight is weight, right? Who really cares what they look like or how hard they are to hold? Just buy the cheapest ones, slap them on a bar, and lift like a man. But why does that idiot online have so many plates? I mean, there's gotta be differences between them, right? And you're probably not exactly like everyone else. We don't all have the same goals. We definitely don't all work out the same way. Some compete, others have the talent for Olympic lifts, and me, I'm just happy hanging out in my home gym. So which Olympic weight plates should you get? Well, this video is gonna break down everything you should look out for in a weight plate so you can pick the best ones for you and your situation. And as we cover every type and style of plate, I'll give recommendations ranging from the cheapest in each category up to those so expensive your family will question your mental stability if you buy them. But listen, if I didn't pick the exact plate you bought, it's not an attack on you, unless you got them without using our affiliate links, in which case it is. I've tested close to 100 different sets of plates, and for various reasons, some plates just didn't make the list. If any of the plates in this video interest you, I've linked them in the description. And if you click that link and buy something, we may get a small commission, which is how we fund the content we create. Videos like this are incredibly expensive, and it's your support that allows us to create them. So thank you. Whether you're just starting out looking for your first set of plates or have gone deep down the rabbit hole that is a home gym addiction, you won't find a better plate resource than this. So let's get into it. The first thing you'll have to decide is whether you want bumpers or metal plates. Luckily, this decision may be easier than you think because there's some pretty strong reasons you may want one over the other. For example, the noise. Bumper plates are predominantly made of rubber, making them much quieter than iron plates. And while I absolutely love the old school clang of iron, it can create some problems. Rogue's deep dish are probably the best example of this. They're debatably the loudest plates on earth, which is great when you're deadlifting and trying to exert your dominance in the neighborhood, but it also means my little ones can't be in the gym then either. Bumpers also tend to be thicker than iron plates, and as much as it pains me to say this, thicker is not always better. Wider plates introduce more bar whip, which is how much your bar bends and can bounce during lifts. While that bend can be good during deadlifts and that flex can help in Olympic lifts, it's not as much fun during your other lifts. Those of you that really need to pile weight on a bar will be able to fit more iron plates on than bumpers, but those wide bumpers do make you look stronger, and isn't that what really matters? If you're doing a lot of Olympic lifts where you're throwing the bar around or dropping it, you'll need bumpers, and since they can be used for any style of lifting, they're a bit more versatile than iron. They'll also help keep you from destroying your floor or from needing a lifting platform, and they're a bit gentler on your bars since they absorb some of the shock. Bumpers do tend to be more expensive than iron though. If that's a lot to mull over, don't worry. As we go through every type of plate, all the factors and details will make more sense. Let's start where many people do, looking for the cheapest possible weight plate, and we'll start with iron. Now, this is where things get fun, and no, I don't mean the fact that the cheapest plates are often bought on the used marketplace, and there's nothing more fun than gambling your life on the chance to save a few bucks. I mean that everyone sells these things. Rep, Rogue, Titan Fitness, you name a company, and they probably sell some type of budget level iron plate. Here's the thing though, if you look at the two of these, unless I told you, you'd have no idea who even sells them, but they are from different companies. So how do you know which ones to pick? What actually matters when selecting a budget iron plate, besides price? Well, there's a few things you really want to look at with budget plates. The first is the diameter. Notice the differences here. If your plates are different diameters, that can become problematic when you're putting plates on and taking them off. It'll also alter how the weight is distributed to the floor, as some plates are under more stress than others. A 45-pound plate should be manufactured to IPF and IWF diameter specs, which is 450 millimeters or 17.7 inches. Does it matter if your 45s are slightly undersized? Not really, we're more forgiving with budget plates, but ideally you want the diameter of the 45s to match if you're mixing and matching plates. Our top choice for a budget iron plate is very slightly undersized, so are Rogue's though. It's not the end of the world. Giant Lifting's cast iron plates have a good and consistent build quality, which is hard to find when you're searching for budget plates. For less than $1.50 a pound shipped, with code GLUCK saving you money on these and everything at Giant, you will not find a better quality plate at this price. If you want the cheapest plates, those are currently from Signature Fitness. That's this one right here. They're not quite as refined. The finishing casting is a lot rougher and more inconsistent, and they don't commit to a weight tolerance, but they're sold on Amazon, so if they suck, you can always just send them back. A weight tolerance is how accurate a plate has to be to its stated weight. The standard is within 3%, which means a 45-pound plate can be off by almost 1.5 pounds and still be sold. But there's much more accurate plates than that out there. The smaller the tolerance, the less room for error and the more expensive that plate will be to manufacture. I'd probably avoid any company that doesn't list their weight tolerance, but these are the cheapest for a reason. And yes, I have seen plates way out of spec. One last note on them. Signature Fitness sells both standard and Olympic sizes. Standard size bars and plates have 1-inch holes and Olympic size has 2-inch. There's nothing wrong with standard size equipment, but Olympic equipment tends to have a better build quality, there's a ton more options to choose from, and has become the standard for barbell training. What about the cheapest bumper though? That honor currently belongs to Cap's economy bumper plates. And I say currently because whoever's cheapest this week might not be the next. And when you're talking about ultra budget plates where companies race to the bottom, oftentimes who we talk about and test today won't be there tomorrow. When we did our bumper cut video where we cut a bunch of bumpers in half to show what was inside, the cheapest bumper was Balance From's Everyday Essentials. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist anymore. A quick Google search shows they're doing great. Don't worry about them. They'll just resell under a different name. You know, like our cheapest iron plates. Longtime viewers are actually familiar with this company. They're the ones who lied about their power rack, the one we dropped 800 pounds on. My point is, the company you're buying from matters. If they have a warranty, will they honor it? Will they even exist if you need them to? So where's that leave Cap's bumpers? They've been around for decades. They're probably not going anywhere, but they're the cheapest for a reason. These things stink, as in they have a very strong smell to them because they're using lower quality materials. Their diameters are a bit oversized. They're a little slick compared to most of my other bumpers, so they're harder to handle, and the 10s taco or warp very easily. That being said, I've weighed mine and they're accurate. Sure, they don't match the quality of more expensive plates, but at around $1 a pound shipped, they're actually pretty decent. If you're looking for a step up from Cap, I'd recommend Homegrown Lifting. Their Uramax bumpers, which are available in both a black and speckled color version, won our award for Best Budget Crumb Bumper last year, and they've only improved them since then. Crumb plates are made from recycled rubber, and these are made in the US out in Kentucky. At a little under $1.50 a pound shipped, you'll be getting the highest quality crumb plate I've seen at these prices. They cost 40% less than Rogue's US mil-spec crumb bumpers and are every bit as good as them. Both Rogue and Homegrown are using high quality bonding agents, so they won't smell as much as cheaply made bumpers often do, and they even feature the same durometer rating of 80, so they'll perform identically. A durometer rating tells you how hard a material is, and in the case of bumpers, gives you an idea of how much they'll bounce. Too low of a rating, and you'll be playing basketball with your bar. Too high, and you might as well be lifting with iron plates. I know, some of you are thinking, but Gluck, aren't crumb bumpers wider than other types? I'm just like so huge and too strong. I can't fit enough of them on the bar. Lucky for you, if you're maxing out your barbell real estate, Homegrown lifting now makes their hyper-thin bumpers, which are much thinner, allowing you to fit more of them on the bar. And bonus points for Homegrown lifting for being one of the few companies with a set of matching change plates for their bumpers. And for Crumb Bumpers for being one of the few types of bumpers that can be used outdoors. What if you want something a little nicer though? That's where machined plates come in. Machining is a process where material is removed to produce a highly refined and very accurate finished product. Machined plates feature a much higher quality level, but also cost more to produce. This is different from casting, where liquid metal is poured into a mold. Of course, many plates use a combination of both processes. Rogue's deep dish are probably the best example of that. Rogue machines the back surface, outside lip, and inside sleeve, creating a smooth, almost mirror-like surface, but they leave the front alone. If you're a fan of vintage iron, these probably call to you like they do me. They're inspired by and designed after those old school plates we all grew up watching the legends, like myself, use. It's not hard to see the similarities between them and my York deep dish. I love Rogue's deep dish plates. They are one of my top 2 picks for iron plates. They've been my daily drivers for years, and I've been recommending them for that entire time. They're incredibly easy to handle because of the deep lip, and the machining and quality is second to none. Of course, as I've mentioned, they're loud and the finish will wear down as you beat on them, but that's true of literally any metal plate. If you're not a deep dish fan and are looking for something a little thinner and a little quieter, the other plate we've been using and recommending for years is from the Strength Co. These also have their roots in weightlifting tradition and are inspired by York's milled plates. Just like Rogue's deep dish, they're cast and machined and are manufactured to high standards in weight tolerances and build quality. No plate video would be complete without mentioning them. These are both easy to handle, and if you're looking for an American-made plate, you will not find better ones than these. Alright then, what about upgraded bumper plates? What's our top pick for most people? That's easy. Fringe Sport makes the best standard bumpers. That kind of sweet spot between extreme budget plates like caps and high-end bumpers. Fringe's black, contrast, color, and Savage bumpers are identical outside of looks, so you can pick whichever one calls to you. The only difference between them is that the 45s of the Savages have been revamped to be thinner. So rather than be about 3 inches thick, which is around the typical thickness of a bumper, they're 2.3 inches now, so you can fit more of them on the bar. Outside of that, they all have a 1% weight tolerance, which is more accurate than most. The inserts are anchored, so they'll never come loose, making them more durable than many others. Fringe's bumpers are also made from 100% virgin rubber. They're not using any fillers or binding agents, so they'll have less odor than cheaper bumpers. But that's not all the tricks Fringe has up their sleeves. They vary the stiffness of the layers of rubber within the bumper to increase its durability. The outside layer is stiff to limit bounce, and the center is softer to absorb shock better and protect your equipment. Side by side with an extreme budget bumper like the Everyday Essentials, Best shows the differences. You can see the cheap filler being used, the poor bonding job, and because they're using lower quality rubber and additives, they stink. These are a few years old and they still smell. Fringe is also the only company that I've seen that encourages you to drop their 10-pound bumpers, and that's because they make the most durable 10s out there, since they're once again changing the mixture of the rubber of the 10s to optimize it, whereas most others just treat all their plates exactly the same. Truth be told, there's more variety in bumpers than iron plates, and I know this really handsome, intelligent, and talented guy that cut over a dozen pairs in half to create the best resource there is out there on bumpers. I'd check out his video next because he covers literally anything and everything you'd ever need to know about bumpers. He'd also tell you to press like and subscribe right now because you are 15 minutes into this video already. Outside of budget, there's other factors to consider, and grip plates exemplify many of those traits. Grip plates are essentially just plates with handles cut into them, making them easier to handle. There are no shortage of options when it comes to these. Luckily, there are some standouts in both the budget and higher end ranges and reasons you may want to avoid certain options. For example, Iron Company's urethane grip plates remind me too much of my face on leg day, and while Iron Grip's 12-sided plates are fantastic in a commercial gym where they never touch the floor, at home they're not ideal unless you hate your shins. How's that for a throwback clip? Our first plate buyer's guide, back when we didn't have lighting or even an HD camera. Shape and design matter. For instance, are the edges of your plates chamfered, meaning angled? Most bumpers are, so if the plate is sitting on the floor, you can easily pick it up. With a grip plate, it's not an issue. You've got a handle. With other plates, it can be a bit awkward. Your big decision, besides price, is going to be whether you want a coated grip plate or not. The coating is a rubber or urethane that's applied to the outside of the plate. At their core, they're still iron or steel, which means they're not bumpers and they're not designed to be dropped. Yes, you can still deadlift with them, they're just not meant for your CrossFit style celebratory drops. The coating does make them quieter and more durable than the e-coat or powder coat finish you'll typically find on iron plates. The trade-off is that coated plates end up being a little thicker and more expensive. My top choice for grip plates is from Giant Lifting, and they're very well priced compared to a lot of other options. They have a virgin rubber coating. The 45s are 2 inches thick, so they're pretty thin. The 45s are also the correct diameter, which is oddly rare for grip plates. And if they look familiar, it's probably because you've seen and used plates just like these in commercial gyms. The difference is the price. With code GLUCK saving you 5% at Giant, you will not find a better coated grip plate for the money. Our alternative pick is either version of Reps equalizers, the made in the US irons or the urethanes. Urethane is a more durable coating than virgin rubber and has no odor, but it's also more expensive, hence the price, even though these are imported. The USA-made irons are, well, made in the USA, an iron, so you're really just picking which look, sound, and feel you prefer. Both are very well done and are a little bit thinner than Giant's for those of you that really need to stack weight on a bar. The cheapest grip plate is made by Cap, and if you set your expectations properly, they're fine, just don't expect to be blown away. The build quality can kind of be all over the place, and no, I'm not talking about the fact that it looks like my toddler painted these. The finish chips easily. The diameter of the 45s can be inconsistent and is like an inch off of standard, which can make them tough to match and will affect your deadlift. And there's enough comments from people having to file down burrs or having other issues that you may want to avoid them. But again, the magic of Amazon is you can send anything back. What about those of you that want the best bumper plates in the world? Ones so nice your neighbor tears up as they look into your gym on their drive to Planet Fitness. In my opinion, the best bumper plates are urethanes because it's odorless, more durable, and more vibrant than any virgin or synthetic rubber mix. And urethanes have less bounce. It is a bit of a slick material though, which is why any high quality urethane bumper, unlike these, are textured, so they're easier to grip. Oh, that's important because they'll allow you to do cool plate flip tricks to impress your wife and kids, which I'm pretty sure is the entire point of lifting. Also, urethane bumpers have much better inserts or hubs. Rather than a pressed ring, they have a more durable, large solid hub. It's the insert that's most often the point of failure on a bumper because those non-anchored rings, although it's rare, can come loose. This big heavy hub and the steel disc inside helps keep urethanes some of the thinnest bumpers you can find. The problem with urethanes, they're expensive. The best ones are from American Barbell, but they cost about $600 a pair shipped. Our budget pick for years was from Titan, but they've discontinued them. And in an odd change of events, Titan is now the innovator, but their new ones are pricey, which means Rogue is now our budget pick. Words I never thought I'd say. I bought these 4 years ago, and they're some of my most used and abused plates, but they still look as good as the day I bought them. If you're competing, you'll be looking for calibrated plates or competition or training plates, so you can train with what you compete with. Olympic weightlifters will be looking at competition and training style bumpers, some of which have gone through the process of being certified by the IWF, some haven't. But those that are approved for official competitions get a cute little logo. These bumpers are held to very high standards. They have to be within 15 grams of their stated weight, have huge, durable, bolt-together hubs to keep them thin, and they follow IWF color standards, so each weight increment will have its own distinct color to help you identify them easier. Most companies offer some type of competition-style plate, but Rogue offers more options than anyone else. Whether you want pounds, kilos, IWF certified, or anything in between, they've got you covered. My favorites are their training plates, which they offer in pounds and kilos, because I prefer the color band and raised letters over the pure black of these with the printed on lettering. But all of Rogue's competition and training style plates are great, so pick whichever calls to you. For the powerlifters out there, those of you that like to get dressed up in your best onesie so you can look your cutest during those big lifts, you'll want calibrated plates. I'll admit, this is my weight is weight category, and that has nothing to do with the fact that my wife won the meet we did together and I didn't. She looks like an absolute giant on the podium next to those other women. Yes, some calibrated plates are definitely better than others, but there's just not as drastic a quality difference in these versus something like the cheapest bumper versus the best. All the options are incredibly thin and calibrated within a few grams. You can see the calibration plugs here that's used to tweak the weight to within 10 grams of the stated weight. My top pick is also my budget pick, and they're from Bells of Steel because they're the cheapest, and I really like them because the textured powder coat makes them a lot easier to handle than every other option I own. That being said, these are not IPF certified, and there are nicer calibrated plates out there. So if that's something you're looking for, I'd look elsewhere. If you enjoyed this video, check out our bumper plate buyer's guide here to see the most comprehensive video there is on bumper plates. Thank you so much to our Patreons for helping to fund videos like this. This video would not exist without you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.